Shabbat Shalom. We're here today to talk about Shabbat as one of the most widely observed holidays that takes place from Friday evening until the first 3 stars are visible in the sky on Saturday night. Shabbat has been an essential aspect of Judaism since ancient times, as it has origins in the Torah.
And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God refrained from doing all work that he had done.
Shabbat is considered a holy day in which people can free themselves from the tasks of everyday life and contemplate spirituality and spend time with their families.
Despite the importance of Shabbat in Jewish life, the Torah provides few details as to its observance. It states that one must rest and refrain from doing work, but does not directly say what cannot be done.
One author, Panchas Peli, says that the Sabbath adds to the world a 7th dimension, the dimension of the holy, which gives meaning to the other 6, or the other 6 days of the week.
Most of the holidays observed in the synagogue. It begins with Kabbalat Shabbat service and welcomes in the Sabbath, and then continues on to the family dinner where guests are often invited to partake. More religious families will attend service on Friday night, as well as the service on Saturday morning in which the Torah is read. The holiday is then concluded with the Havdalah service, when 3 stars can be seen on the evening sky on Saturday night.
It is important to note, however, the extent to which Shabbat is observed, and that it varies greatly from family to family.
Shabbat begins with the lighting of the candles. The Jewish codes of law, Maimonides, oblige men and women to light Shabbat candles, but it has become a tradition that is usually carried out by women. The lighting of the candles serves as a way to usher in the holy day. They must be lit before reciting the blessings, because Shabbat begins as soon as the blessing is said, and you are not allowed to light fires on Shabbat. After the candles are lit, it is customary for the women to wave their hands 3 times over the candles to signal the welcoming in the Sabbath. They then place their hands over their face as the blessing is recited. In some families, it is customary for the father to say a blessing over the children following the lighting of the candles. This blessing has its roots in the biblical story of Isaac and Jacob blessing their sons. Over the years, it has become a tradition for some families to include the singing of Shalom Aleichem, a prayer for peace.
One important part of the Shabbat dinner is Kiddush. As a way to sanctify the Sabbath, a cup of wine is filled to the top and a prayer is recited before drinking the wine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen.
Although it is not required that the male head of the household recites the Kiddush, it has become customary in many families for him to do so. The cup of wine symbolizes joy and bounty. Typically, it is not until the completion of the Kiddush that people take their seats at the dinner table.
After the Kiddush is recited, many families wash their hands before saying the Hamotzi. The proper way to wash your hands is by filling up a cup with water and pouring it over the top and bottom of the right hand and then the left hand. The blessing is then recited before their hands are dried. The final prayer that is recited before the meal may begin is the singing of the Hamotzi. Traditionally, the head of the household, male or female, removes the cover of the challah while reciting the prayer. Once the prayer is finished, it has become tradition for the challah to be ripped or sliced into pieces and passed around the table so that everyone present gets a piece. It is at this point usually the meal begins. The main goal of these restrictions is neither to create nor destroy. Since most of these activities are not relevant to daily life in modern times, people have adapted various ways of not doing work. Typically, more religious Jews refrain from using electricity, driving anywhere, or exchanging money. In modern times, everyone has a different definition of what it means to rest and refrain from doing work, all of which are valid. Originally, resting on the Sabbath was an attempt to emulate God resting after the 6 days of creation. Resting is much more than simply refraining from labor. It involves anything that is real and intrinsically positive that brings happiness and stillness to separate the Sabbath from every other typical day of the week. The Havdalah service officially marks the end of Shabbat. The cup of wine represents joy and the sanctity of the moment. We sniff the spices to carry out the sweet spice of Shabbat into the week and to wake us gently to our earthly responsibilities. The light of the candle is used to look at our fingernails and palms in the light, with our palms up to show the distinction between light and darkness.